Hey yo.
Technical difficulties.
I didn't say anything much. We were talking about Gene's fantastic mustache and how his girlfriend liked it. And I
Let me see.
said, my
Let me.
girlfriend probably doesn't like me looking like a Somalian pirate.
Damn. I hadn't blown up Gene's camera, but now I can see the mustache in full force.
My
Full
problem is it's
force.
not thick enough. It still looks like my other facial hair. It looks like thin. It's not like
Nah, that's plenty
thick.
thick.
You gotta
I mean,
keep
unless
your,
you
you
want
gotta
like a
keep,
caterpillar, but it's definitely there.
A caterpillar. What do you mean?
Like you want that like deep fuzz. You know what I mean?
I just don't want to look like. It just looks patchy. I guess the best way I can describe it. It's patchy.
Uh,
why can't I see the live chat?
I don't know. We're back, Ian. We're good. All right.
Yeah.
Audio should be good. Sorry, Ian updated our audio drivers, and sometimes when you update the drivers, things get wonky, which is frustrating. But mental note: when we update audio drivers, audio test. But like I said, it's been a while since we went overseas with some news, and there are some crazy news that happened overseas, and that is the coup in Russia. So let's get right into it because Doc was like, we got to talk about this. So let's talk about it. What is the Wagner Group, and who is Yevgeny Prigozhin? Is that what you said?
Goshen.
Prigozhin. I'm gonna butcher that the entire time.
As
Prigozhin.
long as
What
that
to know about the Russian private military company? For years, it was shrouded in secrecy, the infamy, and after 48 hours of confusion and claims of a rebellion in Russia, questions about the notorious Wagner Group and the intentions of its leader, Prigozhin, were still swirling Monday. The group has been a key piece of Russia's strategy in Ukraine, with Wagner forces being used to hold cities like Bakhmut. Bakhmut. Prigozhin had sharply criticized Russian military leaders for weeks, calling the top brass incompetent, even traitorous. Tensions between Russia's defense ministry and Wagner escalated dramatically Friday when Prigozhin alleged that Russian forces had attacked Wagner camps in eastern Ukraine, killing dozens of his men. Late Friday, Prigozhin issued videotape remarks that appeared to call for rebellion against Russian military leadership, but he was characteristically vague in defining his plans. And here's a little screenshot of the video that was released.
As far as the Discord, I can't see the imagery that we're streaming.
You sharing the screen, Ian?
He's not screen sharing. That's why. There we go.
Producer's lagging in the back.
Hmm.
You're fine, Ian. I love you.
Prigozhin's Wagner forces left Ukraine and marched into Russia Saturday, seizing control of the Russian military headquarters for the southern region in Rostov on Don, which oversees the fighting in Ukraine. Wagner boss, quote, Putin's butcher, says Russia at risk of facing revolution. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the uprising a stab in the back in a televised address Saturday morning. All those who prepared the rebellion will suffer inevitable punishment, Putin said. The armed forces and the government agencies have received the necessary orders. I guess I'll read what is the Wagner Group, and I guess let's dive into some conversation. Wagner is actually a group of entities that operates as a private military company, or PMC. These PMCs can be hired by governments for security or combat services. They aren't uncommon. The United States has used private military companies during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. However, there are differences between the company accepted definitions of a PMC and Russia's version of the companies. In NATO countries and Western countries, the main logic behind using private contractors when it comes to security and defense policy has been flexibility of resources, said Dr. Andras Rax, a Russian expert at the German Council on Foreign Relations. However, on the Russian side, the logic has been different. Russia, from the beginning, perceived these companies as a way of exerting state power in a covert way. So I guess the first question I want to ask the guys, or Doc, if you want to start it off, is how do we feel about this coup? Is this a good thing, a bad thing when it comes to the Russian-Ukrainian war,
I
or
mean,
is
if
this
you're,
a non-factor?
I mean, if you're rooting for the Ukrainians, then yeah, it's a huge victory, or at least a huge event. For the Russians, it's just really weird, man. I think really for the Russian sides, it's just really embarrassing because you have your own squads turning against you. But like the Wagner group is really weird. They're the ones that I don't know if you remember when the war started. Like they were doing drafts in prisons and stuff like that. They were going a lot of them into the Wagner group, and so the country was just like, yeah, release them. We're not even taking care of them. We're sending them with these mercenaries and send them to the front
Water, pretty
lines.
much. Yeah, exactly.
But this dude Prigozhin's the one who's put out all the videos, the ones of like them being like out of food, not having ammunition and stuff like that during the war. Russia's basically just treating them like shit. It's just the contractor way of life, but it's just like, dude, I'm pretty sure if he actually got fired, supposedly the story I heard was that they had missiles drop on their like camps, and that's how his men died. And when he saw he was being shot from his own side, that's when he flipped shit and decided to just go take over the forward base for the war, on the Russian side, which is kind of a big fucking deal. And that's why I was just like, oh shit, like if he's taking over the forward base and he's trying to capture some office, some guy who's like in charge of the war. I want to say like the Ministry of like Defense, but I think he's probably back in Moscow. But like some top official who's got a lot of power. He was trying to capture him, but the dude wasn't there when he took the base over. And so he threatened to march 25,000 men into Moscow, which is a big fucking deal. Like on Saturday, Moscow was on martial law, and tanks were being rolled out into the city because they were expecting a raid of 25K men, like to just come in. I think it was an obvious threat though, because I doubt that many people would have tried to attack a capital city, like from the inside out. But it's still a wild presumption that he could have tried to do that. The only thing that I'm just like, damn, that's kind of weird, is that it only lasted 48 hours. He basically gave the order to his men to march towards Moscow, and then like in like a day and a half, he was like, "Ah, oh, no, come back, we're good." Supposedly, it was because of
Here I got a timeline right here. So on Saturday, June at 7:30 a.m., the Wagner Group claimed control over military faculties in an airport in Rostov on Don. And then early afternoon, Wagner Group forces drove in a column through the Voronezh region, about 300 miles south of Moscow. And then at PM Wagner Group forces were seen as far as north as the Liptech region before leader Yevgeny Prigozhin called them home, like you said. So
Yeah,
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 it was pretty short.
yeah. That's kind of cool that they were at least marching, in, I guess, as far as the threat goes. But like, I wonder what the Belarusian president was able to say to him, because he's the one who talked him down. And so I think this guy's literally just looking for a way out of the war, because he's getting just shat on by Russia,
Do you
and he
think?
probably doesn't. What were you gonna say?
I was saying, do you think he wants out of the war, or you think he just wants to? I don't know if this is a very simplistic way of viewing it, but just like some respect, because I think I read also what you said, where they received some kind of like, I don't, they were specifically bombed or they were just in the crosshairs, and he didn't receive that well, and that's what, like you said, sparked this kind of reaction.
Yeah, I think both, to tell you the truth. I think he feels disrespected and expendable, and so at this point he's looking for a way out.
Expendable. I agree with that. Yeah.
And then I
Ian,
think,
Because you said the
as you
audio
said,
seems to be tripping again.
oh, weak. It might just be me, because remember my audio has that weird problem where it cuts out.
no, you're being clear this whole time.
You're clear as hell today, you know.
Yeah, today you've been super clear.
Damn, the one time.
The one time.
Shit.
Your fault. We'll just
Yeah,
try and keep pushing.
yeah. Speaking of my P stock, I'm gonna listen to the actual feed and see if I hear anything.
You
So
got
I
feed right now?
no, well, I got the YouTube feed pulled up so to look at the comments. That's how I'm seeing what Miss Christie's saying. But I'm gonna scroll up and actually look at the live feed and see if I can hear anything. So, finish your points. I pretty much agree with you that it was a he felt expendable.
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
know,
my thing is like he's fleeing to Belarus now. Like he's leaving leadership of the Wagner group. And I don't know if the Wagner, I guess PMCs are still going to stay there fighting. I'm assuming they're going to, because Russia's like gonna say like you guys can't leave. But this dude's dipped into Belarus, and I think he's doing it just to get out of the war because he realizes like he's expendable. I personally don't think he's gonna have a good time in Belarus. I think he's gonna have like a week of peace, and then he's gonna fucking be on the back end of a side night pill somewhere. And I think he's out of the game.
I don't think it I don't think it affects us as much as like if his coup was successful or not successful, because they're all agreed to fight the war in the first place. So I don't feel like it affects. I mean, it affects as in the enemy is in confusion, a moment of confusion, so Ukraine can be opportunistic and take advantage of it. So in that way, yes. But as far as like caring, I mean, I don't, I don't see. But I do agree with Doc. I don't think this guy lives longer than 30 days. But
Yeah, I
like,
think he'll get taken out. I
my
Putin's
real question is,
pissed.
what
Putin's pissed.
my real
Yeah,
question
Putin's
is, if
hella
he's
pissed.
going to jail, if he's recruiting these folks from jail, and I'm sure there's people who just signed up or whatever, at what cost do you follow? Like, for example, when you're in the American military and you're going to fight a war, you're the propaganda or the thing you're being told is you're fighting to protect your country. You're fighting for your families back home, your friends, blah blah blah, and
Whatever
their
they're telling you.
freedoms. Yeah, so like in this type of situation, I'm actually surprised he was able to issue a command that 25,000 people followed still after realizing that Russia got slick forsaken them. Like, it was kind of weird. Like, even if the
Like, how was he able
25,000
to get
people
them to
marched
flip?
on Moscow, yeah, like, I really don't think a lot of them flipped. I think a lot of them was going to go to Moscow and goddamn
What's the term like?
get
Uh,
right.
a bit. What's the term when you flee the battlefield?
Abandon
AWOL
or
or something like
whatever.
that.
AWOL. Yeah, when they go
Yeah.
AWOL. Like, bunch of them gonna go AWOL.
I think
Yeah,
they
that's what I'm
would
saying.
have. I saw
It's
something
just
say that like there was like an estimate that out of the 25K, only 5K would have actually walked into the city. And I definitely do agree with that because, dude, like invading a capital city, the only other probably superpower that has a professional army invading their capital city, that's fucking heavy. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure a lot of these dudes are fucking hella pissed with Putin and like the administration. So I can see some of them being like, "Bro, I was on life and I got out to do this, and now I'm getting shat on. Fuck it, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do some damage before I go out."
So how does we're assuming he's gonna die already anyway, but how how does he then, if the issue is then resolved and Russia begins supporting them again, how does he then get them from the flip?
That's honestly, I think, where his
That's why
the
he
only word
gotta
I can
die.
yeah, like the only word I can think of is cowardice for this guy, but I don't know if that's the best word for the situation. But because that is kind of true, man. Like if you get your guys heated and you're like, "Fuck it, man, we're going after the head of the snake," and then 2 days later they you get talked out of it and only you dip. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have control of his army anymore.
Exactly.
So, oh, well,
Well,
that's an interesting question though, because then that raises the point: like, does Russia now have this major, paramilitary group as like an ally now? I mean, they might be forced to because they're of Russian descent or something like that, and they have probably citizenship in Russia. But like, if Wagner Group hates the Russians and then they hate their leader that they're following, at this point, these guys are just fucking running wild and they're just out there. So I don't know. That might be an interesting turn of events. Maybe Ukraine will like give them a fucking peace offering and be like, "Yo, come fight with us," and then all of a sudden you have 25K men on your side.
Do you think they'll go to
it feels like
Ukraine?
such a Chinese dynasty war, like
Yeah,
when we're talking about the numbers and the figures and stuff like that. It just
yeah,
feels like
yeah. That's why I found it interesting because I was like, dude, I've never seen like military stuff like this. I think when it was happening for when we were fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq, I was too young to really comprehend a lot of it, to really think of it tactically and strategically. And I think now,
You're able to actually like view it in that lens.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of
And
on topic, off topic. Do you think Warhammer's affecting that a little bit?
that too, man. That's actually how I found out. I was at the Warhammer 10th edition release, and some guy was like, "Yo, you hear Prigozhin's marching on Moscow?" And I was like, "What? How many squads? Like, what's he what's he trying to do?" Like,
How many units?
yeah, exactly.
What's the setup?
Yeah, what's he running?
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, that's why it kind of wormed its way into my head, man. Because I was just thinking of the strategy of the battle and how he was gonna try to pull it off. And then like later that evening, like hours later, they were like, "Oh, he called it off. He bitched out." And I was like, if I'm being honest, I mean, obviously it's life or death, so I can't do things I would do in games in real life. But like, I think it would have been crazy to see him actually attack it.
What if this was, and this is me going on the deep end here, like there's no credence what I'm about to say, I'm just doing it for sake of conversation, is what if this is propaganda? What if he's been releasing these videos to formulate some kind of narrative for some kind of hidden strategy that we just don't know about?
That's
Or if he
actually a
wants to
good. That's a good
feign
point
weakness?
because he's actually done that before. He's like, he said he doesn't have like ammunitions. He's made like public statements bitching out Putin, and then he gets raided and he's fully armed, and like he just gets those guys on the jump. So he's done it before. At this point, I'm pretty sure the Ukrainians are just like, we're just not gonna move. Instead of jumping on the news and stuff like that, they decided to halt all military operations and just wait and see what happened.
most of the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I guess another question I want to address, and I think last thing, let's kind of move on from this because we're kind of out of our element a little bit here. Because we're just having fun with this conversation at this point. Like we obviously aren't experts about this stuff like that. We're not super deep into like the military, Russian conflicts, stuff like that. But do you think Biden might have been involved? And the only reason I bring this up because I read an article where they addressed like did the Biden American administration have potential influence in there? And it said there no. Like obviously Biden said no, but conspiratorial here. Do you think yes or no?
How would he though?
In what way?
I don't think. I agree with you. I don't think so. Like in what exactly? What do you do? Reach out to the Wagner group and tell them, hey, we'll facilitate this if you do this, or hey, we'll give you this if like ammunitions or food, because he obviously has been public with his lack of stuff, and the administration might have I doubt it, but
Yeah.
might have reached out and then facilitated this potential outcome.
Did
I
they
could
take
totally see
over a
that.
whole base? Nigga got shit now.
I do wonder. Actually, I'm not sure if he still owns the base, but if he does, it's a big deal because that's their forward camp. So
It's an opportunity right there. If someone went
yeah,
freaking um what's the word? AWOL? I don't even think that's the word I'm thinking of. But if someone goes AWOL, it's an opportunity for everyone. Ukrainians are reaching out like, hey man, what's good? Like, America's reaching out, hey man, what's good?
oh, I think the word you're looking for is
I'm
rogue.
waiting for them to start
Rogue, thank
fighting
you.
each
Yeah,
other.
Rogue. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
I'm
Rogue. I think
waiting for
Rogue
them
was
to
the
start
word.
fighting each other. Then we blitzing them.
I think that might be a plan, and I also think the olive branch is also a plan. I could totally see Biden's administration reaching out to this dude to be like, "Yo, we will give you what you're saying he's not giving you if you just start looking the other direction and start marching in that direction." Because that's a big play. And now
It's
Putin has to win back all of the fucking ground he just gained.
well,
We send an
it's
attack.
a
Then we
big
send
play
an
and
attack.
stupid play.
Then we send an attack, and goddamn, as soon as we pull up, nigga, blow our shit up.
Because if let's entertain this. Let's say Biden reached out and said, "We'll give you this if you march forward," and they're marching forward. If he's not successful, I mean, he's already a dead man. But like, it's a genuine suicide. Even if you do succeed, like you're not surviving. Like assassination attempts. Like there's no
Yeah.
way you're like Putin's not gonna allow it. Like nah, this man top of the list.
Yeah,
I
this guy's definitely top of the list, specifically because he
So,
fucking embarrassed Putin on a world stage.
yeah,
and also, this is America. Biden to make that call, he'll go do what he's supposed to do, and then he'll call Biden, and he gonna hear doo doo doo. I'm sorry, the number you called is no longer available.
such an
Nigga,
American thing to
buddy,
do.
All right.
nigga, switch his phone, got you blocked.
You got a whole new phone number. The number you were trying to reach is out of service.
Like,
Is no
God
longer in
damn it.
service.
Biden's gonna be like, "Who the fuck's calling me collect? Like, fuck this shit."
Yeah, but I
Telemarketer.
I said that was the last question, but let me make this the last one, which is, do you think this gives any kind of hope for some kind of end? Now that we see obviously some splitting when it comes to Russia, do you think because of that this might lead to a potential like maybe not peace, but just end? And how that ends, I don't know. But are we finally starting to see the end? I guess is what I'm getting to.
I think we're starting to see
Uh,
a moment where the machine is showing wear.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the end, but I know like Zelensky is like he's touting it. He's like, dude, you see they're cracking under their own pressure. Like he is obviously using it to boost morale in his country.
He had to not suppress, but I think delay or something like that the election of the new president because obviously we're in wartime, so he's like de facto extending it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see
So
him doing that.
so
I actually don't think even his people would care because they love
yeah.
him. I think right now. Um, but yeah, he's definitely riding the wave of like morale boost for this to try to rally his people. Um,
do y'all view Putin as a Viking? Like, how y'all view him as a man?
What do you mean? I guess I don't understand the
Not
question.
morally, but like will.
he's definitely a conqueror.
Yeah, I guess yeah, he's very like he exerts his will. Like if he wants to do
Yeah.
something, like he's going to do it, and no one can really tell him what he can and can't do. Like he'll take
So what?
information.
So what circumstances would have to happen for a man like that to concede?
Honestly, I don't think he will. What I think will happen is something in Russia will break to the
Yeah.
point where they have to take him out.
Either he loves Russia so much that he'll have to acknowledge that this war is not helping the people if he generally is for the people, and he'll have to be like, all right, I got to stop this, which I don't personally see that with my
Mm-hmm.
ignorant mind when it comes to this stuff. Like I just don't see that. What do I know? Uh, but to if or um. I don't know. I just don't see him stopping. Yeah, I generally don't like. He wants this. He is so against America's He's against the push of the West, the advancement of the West. He does not want Ukraine in NATO. He is completely against any kind of Western advancement. So if he will do any, in my mind, he will do anything and everything to halt it. And for him, Ukraine is like a hard no, like just no. And I think his mind is made up. Like this is just no, and he won't. He just won't. He just won't let it happen. So
Yeah, I think him and his loyalists are definitely bringing the ceiling down on people who are like starting to be like, yo, this is just taking too long. It's costing a lot of money, and a lot of people are like, this is way too much fucking money. This is actually being a bigger problem than we thought. We were supposed to walk in there and take it by Tuesday. It's been fucking a year and a half now, and he and his, like I said, his loyalists are definitely like keeping it up. But I think if certain people's pockets start to run dry for these ideals, that's when the knife starts, going for his back.
So
this is the
it's so
first one.
Chelsea for no reason.
What were you saying, John? I didn't hear you.
It's so Chelsea for no reason.
They sold Chelsea for no reason.
Yeah.
His mind goes to soccer.
Yeah,
It's gonna be shit now.
they probably use that Chelsea money for a fucking war chest or some shit.
Damn, that's crazy. All right, let's take a hard turn and come back to some American news. Let's talk about Georgia Police Department under investigation for allegedly using an image of a black man as a shooting target during a safety class.
What the
Say nothing.
fuck?
Welcome to America.
I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let y'all do the talking. I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just stand there like
So,
looking in.
a Metro Atlanta Police Department is receiving backlash after posting images and video on social media of a black man being used on a poster as a target during a firearms safety class. The video and images show officers with the Villa Rica Police Department holding a firearms safety class earlier this month with their civilians where civilians are seen firing shots at posters with an African American man on them. The posting has since been removed. In an interview, what's up?
The way this man's hand is on this old lady. Is it old lady?
Looks like it.
I'm going an old lady or old man. The way that shirt is, I'm assuming old lady.
And what do you think he's whispering or telling her right before she shoots?
This fucking guy.
Do you think it's in? Do you think it's in any relation to?
He's coming for your purse. Blah.
Don't even think. Just shoot. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait.
Just get out that frustration you got inside there. Just look straight ahead, look deep in his eyes, and shoot.
Meanwhile, he got a cell phone in his hand.
God,
I don't think
yeah.
I don't think that's a cell phone, but I could be
No,
wrong.
he doesn't. No, it's a gun.
Well, no,
Oh, no, he's got the bullets. He's got like a bullet rack.
Yeah, the bullet. There you go. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the instructor, John, not the actual.
I was
Training.
talking about the criminal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha. In an interview with CNN affiliate WSB TV, Villa Rica Police Chief Michael Mansour said, "The perception of it looks like we have people shooting at black guys, and that's not at all what it was." Mansour told WSB that they started off using a target of a white male wearing a face mask, but ran out of that target and ended up using their poster showing the black man. On Tuesday, on
Yo, are there other races though? Like, how
Actually,
many races? How many
I-
races do these fucking pull-ups have?
I actually was in the conversation about with my girlfriend about this where I brought up for y'all because I talked to her about what we were supposed to talk about,
Who
and her
models
first
for this
question
shit?
was, right for
Who's
real,
the
was
model for this
did they
shit?
have other ethnicities posters, and they only hyperfixated on the black poster, or was it generally like just they have one poster and it's a black guy and it's like whoa?
You can see him like, no. Look at us shooting this Asian guy. Like, you're just like, dude, what the fuck?
It sounded like to me the Villa Rica police were saving the good ones for themselves and they ran out of the other ones. So they had to let them use the ones that they normally use.
Best for last or some shit. Like,
Mhm.
All right, let me finish this last
The
couple
one you've all
paragraphs.
been
Let's
waiting
dive into
for.
it.
we gunned down all the Mexicans, so we switched to the black guy.
God, this is so bad. On Tuesday, the police department issued a statement on Facebook apologizing for the social
My
media
bad.
post The targets utilized in our recent firearms class depict realistic human images and were part of a package, which included target images of people from various ethnic groups. It was never our intention to be insensitive, inflammatory, or offensive to anyone, the statement read. CNN is
My
seeking
bad.
comment from the Villa Rica Police Department. Villa Rica Mayor Gil McDougal said in a statement that he is personally embarrassed for what he calls an offensive post. This
My
administration
bad.
will be asking our human resources director and the city attorney to select an outside organization to review how the entire incident came about, not just the post itself. The Carroll County NAACP said the department's
This
apology
happened.
lacked sincerity and sensitivity towards minority residents. Quote, this target is
Okay.
extremely offensive to the Villa Rica and Carroll County residents. These type of targets have been used by other police departments within the USA and have been deemed racially inappropriate and unacceptable, the organization said in a statement. Villa Rica is located about 30 minutes
Okay.
west of Atlanta. All right, John, you got something to say? Go for it.
Okay. That's too much. First and foremost, it came in a pack with other races. Please, let's not ignore that fact. Let's not ignore the fact. But we also have to keep it in mind. It was Villa Rica, so it just makes sense.
Well,
Also,
first off,
it,
John, describe Villa Rica for people who aren't from Georgia.
country. I don't know.
What kind of country, John?
Villa Rica. On if you're driving through Villa Rica on the lawns, you won't see running for mayor or governor signs. You'll see people running for sheriff. Does that explain it in a way that's tangible to you guys for you to understand? The
Small
biggest
town,
the
humble
biggest
town,
guy in the town would be the sheriff,
old
the
school.
mayor. Real old school. So that's the best way to describe it. But so then also too, um, he said it didn't accurately depict what was going on. Y'all was shooting at a black dude. Like it that's literally what was going on. Now the
They were
intention
shooting
behind it,
at minorities, apparently.
yeah, but it came in a pack. So we
That's
don't
what I'm
know if
saying.
white
Because of the
people
pack,
was
that's
in
what
the
I'm
pack.
saying.
Yeah, it came in the race
Was it
war
a
pack.
minority pack only? That's crazy.
That's fair.
But it's
That's fair.
also,
That's fair.
I'm not gonna lie to you. With this one, I really don't care too much to the facts. I apologize. It was bad PR. They should have known. Honestly speaking, they should have taken all minorities out the packs and only shot at what they knew they could get away with shooting at, which is the only thing safe. If anybody, if it was all Mexicans, if it was all Asians, if it was all, there was a hot water. They can't really shoot at anything now. So that's how far we're taking it. That's why I said it. Hearing the NAACP and all that, man, they shoot at niggas in real life. You talking about talking about a training thing for whatever. I don't think it was. I think it was a slip up. I don't think it was training y'all to shoot niggas. I just don't believe that.
I
I
agree. I
mean,
think it
I
was
do
just like a
believe they trained them to shoot niggas, but I don't believe that was
this
This
them
time,
was that.
training them to
this
shoot niggas.
time.
This
Yeah,
time.
yeah. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it was a series of unfortunate events that's just like fucking hilarious. Like, god damn it, dude, y'all didn't run that shit by.
Awesome.
Like, just
Yeah.
reuse the fucking ski mask, dude, man. Nobody cares about that one. It's neutral, I hope. Like, shit.
I I just think I agree with what they were saying here, which is just bad PR. Like the PR person should have known. Like if we're going to post a video post and a just a picture post on our social medias to bring awareness and blah blah blah, with the climate right now in 2023 and whatever, let's not use the black guy. Let's use the white guy with the face mask on. Like John said, it doesn't make it any better in my opinion. Like my take is why use targets that depict actual people? Like
That
the
is
whole
actually
point.
a trip too. I was wondering that myself because I'm used to seeing the silhouette, and I was like, maybe they just want to like
Yeah,
create some muscle memory of visibility or something like that. But I was still, it's
Like
weird
the
that it's
zombie ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that was my biggest take, and and I was kind of a point I was trying to address with my girlfriend, which was like I just don't understand why you had to use actual imagery. Like why couldn't like the doc said? That's what I'm used to seeing when I go to gun ranges is the silhouette or just flat out a target. Like you got the 1, 2, 3, 4 corners and then the center one. Like why are you using actual human imagery? Like I get
Because those images, even though they're using them for civilians training, they're the target audience of the people, the manufacturers and civilians, is police department.
well, no, but this isn't police practice. This is a police teaching people like it's a safety class,
That's
police
what I'm
teaching
saying.
safety. Okay, I
That's what I'm
understand what you're
saying. But
saying then.
the people who make, like, it's a product that they purchase.
Yes.
Their main audience would be police and not
I see
the
what you're
people
saying.
that the
I see
police
what
are
you're saying.
changed. Yeah. So I
So
think like
it was police targets that police use, and they're just using like excess or whatever to further safety
exactly,
class. Okay.
exactly. And police, I would not that saying that police shouldn't be shooting zombies, but it'd probably be better for police to be shooting people.
Give them a better idea of where their bullets are going when they're practicing.
Exactly. So that's why you make them all black. Dodging.
There's different ethnicities, John. There's probably some Mexicans in there and some
Yeah,
white
but
people.
you get 50 points for the black.
Was-
I don't know, dude. It's just more funny to ignore the fact that this was just a PR thing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's much more entertaining to think that it was an
It's
old white dude
entertaining.
teaching an old white lady to shoot niggas. That's so. That to me is hilarious.
And at what point do we got to give a little bit of accountability? Or not, maybe not accountability. I guess responsibility or something like that. Or I don't know the word. I guess maybe God can help me out against the media, because obviously this was blown out of proportion. Like they did reference the fact that this was a pack of an ethnic pack of multiple ethnicities, but y'all chose to highlight the black person. Like
You know why
why?
it don't
Like
matter?
this is genuinely stoking racial division when it shouldn't be.
Do you know why it don't matter? Because go scroll up right there. I haven't seen it anywhere yet. That is a meme. 100%.
Well, it's
That
now.
right
If it
there
wasn't, it's now
is
is.
all you have to do is add a caption about a nigga. That's all you have to do to that. That's all you literally have to do to that. If you see him on that side of the street, this is what you do, Granny. And then boom. Like you can just caption this with so much. It's just I don't know. When stuff is easily like when stuff is entertaining, the truth does not matter. Honestly speaking.
So, would you prioritize the entertainment over the truth then? Because that's
I
what's going on
always
right
do.
now. Like, this is, I think that I don't necessarily disagree with that because sometimes things can be so morbid that you have to look at the entertainment side of it just to get through it. But also, you have to acknowledge that sometimes that is a, how would I characterize this? It's just dangerous because now we're stoking something that we probably shouldn't be stoking, like I referenced before, racial division. Like we have a right now. If it's not racial
See,
division,
this
it's
is where
division period, a divide. And this
if
right
you're
here, in my opinion, is not helping.
if you're just enjoying the entertainment of it, you're not stoking any flame because you're not suggesting to anybody
I'm not talking about
like
us. Obviously, we're
no, I
enjoying the
know I'm
entertainment
just
side
saying
of it.
for
I'm talking about the
anybody who's just
media.
taking the entertainment out of it. But if you're not entertained by such a misfortune of events and you're really angry, then yeah, I get it. But I'm learning that after people form an opinion, they close the door behind their opinion. So I'm learning that it's harder and harder to trust that people are actually telling you the full truth when any story is actually because you're more
Because of shit
concerned
like
about
this.
people's opinion. Yeah, so
Yeah, I kind
I
of
mean they
see it
still
more
they
as
did their due diligence, so they said it in the report, but
Yeah, but then look at the headline, though.
yeah.
yeah,
I do feel it's more on the entertaining side for me personally. Like I'm not it doesn't give me that like appalling feeling of like, oh my god, we need to fucking, go to the
Do
streets and
something about
do
this.
something about this exactly. Cuz to me this looks like the beginning of like a fucking Chappelle show skit.
100%. I'm telling you,
And
he's gonna tell you he's a DoorDash driver. Just shoot, like
yeah.
just.
And so I remember Chappelle said that like he did that stuff because he wanted to show people uh racial difference, like not racial like differences of like we can't connect, but he wanted people to show them how stupid racism can be and to not really lean towards it. But then like a lot of people started using his gags as actual racist acts or to perpetuate their racism and stuff like that. Like he kind of gave ammunition to it, and that's why he stopped. So with this, I'm kind of still conscious of that, and I'm seeing it as like this is how stupid it could be, but at the same time, like I know that these people just generally fucked up, and so I'm not gonna, try to destroy their infrastructure because of it and stuff like that. But I mean, most people in real life would never do this, and I think I would hope that the majority of people who see this article get the same level of, cackle from it and don't actually like uproar.
Question: would y'all be upset if everybody in the department had to do sensitivity training?
Because of this?
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
I
kind of
guess
would,
so.
man, because I
I
don't
guess so,
think it's
yeah.
warranted. I just think it's like, don't do that shit again, or like think about what you post next time. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so my follow-up question behind that is, then how do we feel? We all work for different corporations. Well, we have, but like things happen that have nothing to do with you, and sometimes you still have to have the team meetings or
The
the
discipline.
yeah, the watch the videos, the sensitivity training. But like we kind of, even though we technically don't agree with it, it's more palatable, I guess, because of that setting. My question, I guess, is why do we get mad if cops get that same treatment? Because I guess that's just any job.
well, to me, I get mad even in my own job if it's multiple times. It depends on how much you have to digest it. Like the first time, like I'm being onboarded, yeah, I already know I'm going to watch the sexual harassment videos, the racist in the office videos, the like money laundering videos and stuff like that. Like I know that this company, every company I work for, has to do its due diligence to just show it to me, so that if I ever actually fuck up, they can say we showed him that this is not what we're about.
And he signed off on it right here.
Yeah, exactly. If they keep doing it every week, or if like it happens in a different department and then they make me fucking watch it, that's a different story. Like at that point, I'm like, I don't know about this company, because it it's not that it's offensive. I've just always, as me personally, had an issue with doing something when I know I'm in line. Like I remember having to go to all the fucking dare things when I was a little kid. And literally one time I looked at my teacher and I was like, "Miss, I don't do drugs. Do I really have to go to this again?" And she's like, "Yes, go." And I threw a fit. And my mom showed up and she came to like talk to me in front of the principal, and the principal's like, "He's throwing a fit." And she's like, "Why are you throwing a fit?" And he's like, "Because he doesn't want to go to the fucking dare convention or whatever, because he says he already doesn't do drugs, so it's pointless." And my mom told me, she's always told me this. She was like, at that moment, I realized I had a logic issue with you because you were right. And it's like, and if I punished you for being like independent, I knew I just wouldn't have made a smart decision. So she took me home, and I just got to go home and play fucking video games. And the principal was like, "What the fuck?"
You
But
made the right decision there.
yeah, and so like stuff like that, it's just if I keep getting fed that stuff, belt fed it, when I know I'm already in the right, I know I'm following the rules, I feel like I'm being respectful of others and stuff like that. At that point, I get upset because it's no longer the others that are the problem; it is the system that's the problem.
I get that. I agree, but
I
I think
agree.
my level of irritation, I guess, when it's applied, stops at just being annoyed because it's just, I guess, something I see as part of the dribble of going through like working a job. Like, I just see it as the same shit as working a job. So I guess all the times where I'll have to be in meetings or Zoom calls because something happened or some change happened, and to sit there for 10, 15 minutes and listen to some dumbass video that has nothing to do with me. But it's just like, okay. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes,
I think it's a
yes,
scapegoat
it's an
also.
overreaction, but I also feel like sometimes the reaction to it too is like, oh, well, we're just not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like like if anybody should get more sensitivity training for the smallest, slightest thing, chances are it should be police because of their occupation. So I don't know. It's annoying, yes. Does everybody need it? No. But there are some people who do. So it's like, I don't know. Every lesson I listen to isn't meant for me, but sometimes just
Well,
I listen to it.
my only take on this in is because I know exactly what Doc's talking about when it comes to like those videos you had to watch for work and also in school when you do those dare stuff and other stuff like that. Like it's mainly just like for show. It's a scapegoat.
Correct.
Like they're just doing it for, they're going to say we updated the policies of this and they've all have been enforced and signed off and educated and everything's now okay. And it's like what did they really do? It's a scapegoat. It's just a save face.
Correct.
So that's why I guess I question the
That's part of what you sign up
utility
for when you join.
utility of it.
I agree with you. I question that too, but like
Because they still
what you
probably got a
sign up
stash
for.
of these targets at the department, like you said. They probably use this for their own target practice because that's what they do. Officers, I think, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure like every day, if not every week, they have quota. Like you have to go and shoot your gun for like to stay
Yeah,
update with like your shooting practice and
training.
whatnot. It's training exactly. So they probably have a stack of targets. Do you think they got rid of that stack? No, they spent money on it. They still have to use it. So like they probably went through some sensitivity training, but they're still going to use the targets.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this is part of your job as a company man, regardless of the company. Like this is part of your job if you're an NBA player. This is part of your job if you're a CEO of a company. It's part of your job. Like sometimes CEOs will have to step down for just something that looks or sounds bad.
I think that's dumb because I mean, it's a different conversation, but I guess
We
we can dive
agree
into a
it's
little bit.
dumb. I'm just saying. So like yeah. So like if they, I'm just saying if I'm saying that should be the maximum of the pushback against this. Maximum should be some sensitivity training. What to be sensitive about, I don't honestly know because I know it's just a fuck up. But I'm saying like it shouldn't be a defund this like this
I don't think the
location,
defund
Villarica's
thing.
police. And
I don't think it's a defund thing. I think it more feeds the narrative of like police targeting African Americans, and I don't think this is
oh
an
yeah, but
example
they
of
do
that, in my opinion.
that.
But I
They
don't think
do
this is an
do that.
example of that.
No,
And
no,
that's
no.
what
This
this
is
would
not
be,
an example of that.
and that's what this would be used for, though. Like people won't read into
Correct.
this and see the
That's why I said
context that it was a pack of ethnic portrayals. They'll just blatantly think like, oh, they're actually using black like African American imagery to shoot. That's wow.
okay.
These racist police officers.
But listen, Gene. But listen, I completely agree with you. I've said it multiple times on this podcast today. But on the other hand, if you ask people about Villa Rica's police, they'll say this is really just ironic. Like this is just like bad PR on you because you do this shit. Like even though this isn't an example of you doing it, it's ironic because you do it and this happened.
What's the word I'm trying to think of, or the phrase? Word. I get what
Mhm.
you're trying to say, but I'm not for utilizing one instance to justify another instance. That's probably a poor way of characterizing it. Like if
I'm
it
not.
has
I'm not saying this. I'm
I'm
not
not saying
saying
you are
this.
either, but I'm saying
Okay.
people who don't read context into this article will do that. Like, look, this is an example of Villa Rica Police Department being racist, which this is not an example of that. Granted, there's
Right.
probably history of Villa Rica Police doing stuff like that because you and I are aware of Villa Rica because we live.
Okay.
I used to live there. You
Specifically.
live there, exactly.
Yeah.
So we can separate that, but still be like it's ironic. But people
Yes.
don't look at context. People will tie this to like, oh, look at this, an example, which it's not of Villa Rica being racist. And that I guess that's where my issue is here. Is
See, I
it
think
go back to my
sometimes
point? It's
I
stoking this
agree.
divide.
I agree. It is stoking the divide, and I guess I'm just leaning more on the side of entertainment. But it's like, okay, for example, this is gonna be a bad example, but I have to say it. Okay, so for example, it's like Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't get caught, take race out of it, caught killing people, right? But one day he's painting a rose and walks out his apartment with red paint on his shirt, on red paint on his hands, red paint on his shirt, and he walks out of his apartment to two cops who just happened to be walking by. No, he wasn't murdering nobody right now. You get what I'm saying? But the irony of the red paint being on his body at that time and bumping into two cops, and now
That's
the cops
wild,
want to go
man.
inside them. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
like
wild. That's wild.
that's the only thing I can think of that quick. But like, yeah, like
Yeah, I got you.
I agree. I agree. This isn't an example. Like that's not an example of him murdering nobody. He just painting a rose, trying to get his paint on, maybe trying to stop murdering people. But it's ironic that we caught you like
Leaking a little bit.
leaking a little bit. But I don't think this is a leak. This is
I,
just
I don't think so either.
This is what it
It's
is,
just like
but
you
it's
said, it's
funny.
ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic, but it's funny. It's hilarious.
Villarica's north, correct? It says right there. I think it said where it was of
And they
Georgia.
shooting at a nigga from the 90s, apparently. Like,
Is it near Forsyth?
they need to update their niggas.
Time bullet, bro.
This freaking guy.
Get him in the past.
The date nigga. They need to, boy, they need to throw some Amiri's
And I guess
and Balenciagas.
to slowly wind down here is first off, the pose is terrible. What person is gonna hold the gun at their hip like this and shoot at you? Like the pose is all kinds of bad.
Give me a shit.
It's like
I
a
mean-
look like a Western, like he just drew it like a Western and tried to hip shoot it. Like I
Well,
I
I
think
think
it's a
that
bad-
begs the
I'll say-
question, like John
that's
said,
why I said
like,
he
who
had his
poses
cell
for
phone.
this?
who poses for this
That's what I want a
exactly.
model. I want a model for this shit. They have to be getting paid forever. I want a model for this shit.
Or you get
'Cause I'ma
royalties
give 'em some
every time I
looks.
get shot.
Yo, that's wild. That's fucking wild. All right. Okay, I think that's enough fake deep thinking for today, y'all. We had a little fun with this one. Make sure you like the video if you haven't liked it already. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you disagree or agree with us, we like to see the feedback. Share the video if you haven't shared it already. Let's get more people in this conversation. We will see y'all next time on Fake Deep Thinking. Don't forget Mondays now. Mondays, sticking to Mondays, 7:30. Mondays, 7:30.
Monday,
Peace.
Monday, Monday.
My woman is home. I'm about to eat.
Yeah, I'm about to munch. I haven't munched yet.
Your lady brought food?
No.
No, she didn't bring any food, but I got some duck that I got last night that I'm about to fuck up with some white rice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That
Wonton or
does
something
sound
like
good.
that? Chinese duck? Yo, thanks for making it
No,
to
it's
the end. We really
Cantonese.
appreciate it and hope you all enjoy the
So it's-
show.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the notification bell to get notified when we post our clips.
Follow us on Twitter at PodcastFDT. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are all Fake Deep Thinking. Check us out, please.
FDT. Peace, y'all.
Peace.